We are working on the procurement business function options screen. And in that, 4 sections are there. One is the general section, and the next section is purchasing. Third section is consignment, and fourth section is sourcing. And we completed discussing the first section, that is general section. And we are in the middle of discussing the second section, that is purchasing section. So in the general section, mostly whatever you are selecting there, that is defaulted to your purchase order. And in the second section also, similarly same, but some controls are there in the second section. So controls are nothing but in case of changes in the purchase order, in case of any changes in the purchase order, using the bulk option, the bulk option is nothing but the REST API. And the changes has to be communicated to the supplier or not. That is decided by these 2 checkboxes. And then for the automatically submitted purchase orders, from the requisition, we can automatically create purchase orders. So for the automatically created purchase orders, do you want to bypass the approvals? And while creating the requisition, there is an option called, negotiated. Negotiated. If the negotiated is selected as yes, then in that case only, I want the PO to be automatically created. For negotiated requisitions, I want the purchase order to be automatically created. And if the supplier is on hold, in the approved supplier screen, the approved supplier screen is nothing but there we can maintain the approved suppliers for the item. And in that screen, if any supplier status is in hold, and if you have created a purchase order for that item and for that supplier, and when you submit that PO for the approval, you'll get error. When you submit that PO for the approval, you'll get error, because we are controlling here to create purchase orders on the suppliers which are on hold. And we want the promised date to be defaulted from the requisition requested date. Okay. So far we discussed about these checkboxes, and today we'll discuss about this checkbox. First of all, we should understand what is meant by fulfilled order. Fulfilled order is nothing but, suppose if you have received a quantity, or if you have billed the PO, nothing but in either of these 2 cases. Okay. In a simple term, so if you receive the PO, nothing but how much whatever is ordered, if it is 100 rupees or 1000 rupees or 100 quantity or 1000 quantity, whatever. Suppose if you receive the PO or if you invoice the PO, in both these cases, that PO is called as a fulfilled PO. You're not received fully, but you received some quantity, or you have invoiced some quantity. So that kind of PO is called as a fulfilled PO. So if you enable this checkbox, system will allow you to update the price. On the fulfilled order. Nothing but you started receiving, you started invoicing, but you want the system to allow to update the price in the sales order. Generally, once you start receiving, once you start invoicing, the price should not be changed, should not be updatable, right? But this is the flexibility. Suppose if you want the price to be updated on the fulfilled order, nothing but received and then invoiced order, then this checkbox you can enable. Okay. And on the right hand side checkboxes, so here I'm discussing from the bottom. So this is grouping of requisitions, and this is grouping of requisition lines. So this is, and if you see here, in case of grouping of requisitions, there is something called use customer sales order. So this is in relation with the dropship sales order in order management. in the order management, there is a sales order called a dropship. So in case of dropship sales order, if it is normal sales order, we ship the product to the customer. If it is normal sales order, we receive the order from the customer and we ship the product to the customer. But in case of dropship sales order, we don't ship. Okay. This is the process in case of dropship. So once you receive the sales order from the customer, we process that sales order to a requisition and followed by purchase order. Okay. Nothing but we are asking our supplier to deliver the product to the customer. Supplier is going to deliver the product to the customer. So this is what happens in case of dropship. Supplier delivers the products to the customer. This is what happens. So in this case, from the sales order, first the requisition is getting created and then the purchase order getting created automatically. Okay, this is the process. And the best example, we are all using e-commerce sites like Amazon and Flipkart. And if you order something from Amazon or Flipkart, Amazon is sending some products, Amazon is sending, but remaining products who is sending to you? Amazon suppliers, right? Some products Amazon is sending. Amazon is sending some products directly because they are selling directly. But remaining products who is sending? Amazon suppliers, right? But you feel you received the product from the Amazon. That means what Amazon is doing, they're processing our order into the purchase order to their suppliers, and their suppliers are packing the product in Amazon boxes and they're delivering to us. Understood? Everyone with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So in
sir.
case of dropship, we are creating a purchase order, and here the grouping related to the dropship functionality, the grouping related to. Suppose we received a sales order from customer A, and we received a sales order from customer B. Sorry, from the same customer. From the same customer, we received two different sales orders, asking for two different items. Customer is same, but item is different. Okay, you want to group the same customer sales orders into single requisition. Yes. Use customer sales orders for grouping. Use customer sales order for grouping and group it and create a single requisition. So in this case, what is my expectation? My expectation is to group and create a single requisition, and then single requisition will follow the single purchase order. This is grouping functionality. Okay. And this is grouping of requisition lines based on the requested date and based on the ship to ordination and location. So this is not for the dropship requisitions. So this is dropship requisition. And this particular checkbox is for the remaining also. Remaining in the sense, in case of Minimax also, we are creating the requisitions, right? In case of Minimax also, we are creating the requisitions. So when the requisitions is automatically created, so if the requested date is same, just group it. And if the ship to ordination and location is also same, just group it. Just group it and make it as a single line. Okay, so this is grouping related functionality. And this is like a table. Okay. Now the starting checkboxes, these checkboxes are nothing but, first of all, we are talking about automatic PO creation, right? To create purchase order automatically, there should be agreement required. There should be agreement required to create PO automatically from the requisition. That means agreement is a prerequisite setup. Agreement is a prerequisite setup. We have two types of agreements. I think we covered blanket purchase agreement, right? We discussed blanket purchase agreement, right?
Yes, sir.
There is
Yes.
something called contract purchase agreement also. Okay. In case of contract purchase agreement, what is the difference? The difference between these two agreements are, in case of CPA, you don't specify any items. In BPA, you specify. Basically, in BPA, okay, you specify, I buy this item from you. You specify it, okay, and also you specify the agreement amount, and also you specify the agreement duration also. But in case of CPA, we don't specify, okay. We don't specify, we can buy anything that is offered by the supplier, and it will just work based on the amount and duration. So if the agreement amount is over and if the duration is crossed, then this agreement is not valid. And here in case of BP, what we are doing, we are entering the items. In CPA, we are entering the items? No. Are we entering the items? No. We can buy anything that is offered by the supplier. It's not specific to any item, the CPA. Okay. Now in these two cases, and auto-generate orders from the requisition source to agreements. Nothing but at the time of, suppose, you created a BPA, and let us take the BPA number so and so. Okay, when creating the requisition, at the time of creating the requisition, you have provided this BPA as a reference. This BPA as a reference at the time of creating the requisition. So for these type of requisitions, do you want the purchase order to be created automatically? You see, you read this checkbox. The requisition lines source to agreements, then auto generate orders. So if you enable this checkbox in the requisition, if you mention agreement number as a reference, so for such type of requisitions, I want the purchase order to be automatically created. Understood? So for which requisitions, when you mention the agreement number as a reference, then only, if you don't mention, it will not create. If you mention, then only it will create the PO automatically for that requisition. Okay. And here, this checkbox is given, right? If you enable this checkbox, what happens is, in the future, I mean, later, we can create not only just one BPA, we can create a lot of BPAs later with different suppliers. With the different suppliers, we can create a lot of agreements. Okay, I can create a lot of agreements with different suppliers. So since we enable this, we disabled here, right? Since we disable this checkbox, for every agreement, give me a moment. So since you disable this checkbox, when you are creating an agreement, this is also by default disabled. Here also it is disabled. I mean, everywhere when you are creating the agreement, this is disabled. Okay. But agreement level, if you want, you can enable it. Here, agreement level, if you want, you can enable it. You can enable at the agreement level. So since I disabled, for every agreement, that you are creating in the future, by default, this is going to be enabled. For the future agreements, if you want, for the new agreements, if you want, you can enable it. Clear? And this checkbox also same. So basically, if you enable it, this will also by default enabled for the new agreements. If you want, you can disable or enable at the agreement level. That is up to your wish. So let's create a PO automatically. Let's automatically submit the PO for approval also. Suppose if you don't want submit for approval, disable it. That means just PO will create, but you have to manually submit that PO for the approval. Understood? Clear, team?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And same with this checkbox also. If you enable it, for every new agreement that you are creating, for every new contract purchase agreement that you are creating, by default, this is enabled. Agreement level, you can disable it. Okay, so this is nothing but punch out requisition. This punch out requisition is nothing but Normal requisition is, you enter what you need in the requisition, but punch out is nothing but, suppose if you take Amazon, when you're trying to create a requisition, you can redirect our application to Amazon website. And in the Amazon website, you can select the product and you can return from Amazon website. After selecting the product, you can return from Amazon website to our Fusion application. That's called punch out requisition. So what we are doing, we are punching to the supplier website, and in the supplier website, we are selecting the product and we are returning to our Fusion application at the time of creating the requisition. So such type of requisitions are called as punch out requisitions. Punch out requisitions. Okay. So this is also in case of CPA, if you want to create purchase orders automatically for CPA. And I want this to be valid only for the punch out requisitions. For normal requisitions, no. I don't want the PO to be created automatically. Only for the punch out requisitions, I want the PO to be created automatically. If you disable it for every requisition, it could be punch out or normal requisition for every. If you enable it only for the punch out requisition, the system will create automatically. Again, these whatever you are selecting here, that is defaulted to the agreement. It could be BP or CPA. At the agreement level, you can disable or enable. It's up to your choice. Understood?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is also for the automatic PO creation only, but this is for CPA and this is for the BPA. Okay. And consignment terms, I think I explained you what is meant by consignment. What is meant by consignment? What is meant by consignment?
We are using the supplier stock in our location and we'll pay it for later. I mean, we'll pay it later. I mean, what the quantity we have used it accordingly.
Supplier is maintaining the stock in our company premises. Whenever required, we consume it. And then we send a consumption advice to the supplier. Consumption advice. So according to the consumption advice, the supplier is send you the invoice. So in the consumption advice, I want, ordination, to which ordination I consumed, which item I consumed, when I consumed it, the transaction date. I want these details to be reported to the supplier in the consumption advice summary. So this is related to consignment. So I have not worked on the consignment process. This is not a regularly used functionality. So that's why I'm not explaining more about this. The definition is okay. In the interviews, if somebody asked more about it, even I can tell him that I have not worked on that, but I have knowledge or the functionality of it, I can mention to him. So this is sourcing module related functionalities. So this I'll cover later. When I start the sourcing module, I'll cover this section. Okay. So for good with the first two sections, if you're having any doubts in the first two sections, please.
Sir,
Yeah,
in group requisitions, here use customer sales order. We are selecting both options, right? For multiple items, we are making it as a group. So here in
from the
this
same
case,
customer.
in this case, it will be of two sales order or one sale order for different items.
It could be different sales orders with the same customer.
Okay.
Next, coming to the document types. Next, in the purchasing module, we will create purchase orders. And then I'll show you how to create purchase orders. I'll show you how to create agreements also. That is blanket purchase agreement and contract purchase agreement. And later I will show you the bidding documents also. Bidding documents in the sense we can create RFQ. We can request quotations from the suppliers. We can request quotations from the suppliers. So we'll create the RFQ, RFI, and then auction. These three are bidding related documents only. Auction, right? In our general life, what is meant by auction? Auction is nothing but inviting everybody and then they offer their prices, right? So this is also a bidding only. Okay. And RFI also, we know about RFI also. Sometimes we do window shopping. Window shopping in the sense you gather the information from the seller, from the supplier, but you don't have the intention to buy the product at that time. So this is request for information. You don't have an intention to buy now, but you are collecting the information from the supplier. Okay. So later I'll show you these documents creation. But why I'm here is in case of purchase order. In case of purchase order, what would be the purchase order layout? What would be the purchase order layout? Layout is nothing but in the application, we create a PO and then we can download that PO into the PDF format. We can download that PDF into the PDF format. I'll show you one of the client PDF layout. I will see here. These are all the purchase orders format. This is not a so this is what Oracle given. So this is standard layout. Okay, after you create a PO, in the application, we can download that PDF into the PDF copy. This PDF copy we can send as a fax, or we can email to the supplier. This is the standard layout. But in the standard layout, you wanted to add your company logo, and at the end you want to add the terms and conditions at the end, or this layout does not look really that much good. You want to add some extra columns, or you want to remove some unnecessary columns. So in that case, what you can do is you can customize the standard layout, or you can completely build a new layout also. So this PDF, it will be generated from a RTF template. There is something called RTF template. So from the RTF template, this PDF will be generated. So we have to develop the RTF template. So that RTF template you can develop completely custom. Okay. I will show you my client PDF now. You see here, logo, and then bill to, and please reference this PO number on your invoice. When the supplier is sending an invoice, you have to mention the PO number on the invoice. Okay, highlight, and this is the layout, and these are some standard instructions. Okay. Contact so-and-so mail ID. Contact so-and-so mail ID if you're unable to ship to the specified location, or if you have any questions on the delivery. Some instructions, and then terms and conditions. In case of terms and condition, packing and shipment, warranty, inspection related terms and conditions. You see here, this is a custom layout. So this PDF, it is generated from a template called RTF template. Okay, that need to be built by our technical consultant. So we have to, as a functional consultant, we have to ask the layout format from the supplier, from the client. We have to ask the layout, sample layout, and that sample layout you can give it to the technical guy. The technical guy will develop the layout, and after he develop the layout, we have to add that layout here. Right now, whatever you see, this is standard layout. Okay, once the custom layout is built, that custom layout we can add here. It seems to be PO_PDF is built by somebody in this instance. This is a custom layout. Sir, I'll show you where this custom layout is added. You know BA screen, right? Where we can connect to the database or application. I'm navigating to that place. Tools and scheduled process. I'm sorry. Tools and reports and analyticals. So here from the shared folder, okay, and you can navigate to the procurement. So from the procurement, if you click on the purchasing, you see here the path you can see here, shared folder procurement, and I'm selecting the purchasing now. And in the purchasing, this one, purchase document PDF report. Okay, if I click on edit, here you can see that RTF templates. You can see the RTF templates here. Okay, this is the standard layout, and I'll show you how this RTF template look like. You see here that what is the extension here? What is the extension of this file?
RT.
.rtf. Okay. So inside this RTF template, our technical consultants are going to insert the dynamic tags. You know, purchase order number, supplier name, all these to be dynamically inserted into the layout. Okay, you see here, as per this is standard layout template. Okay, see here, supplier details. You know, this is static, but supplier name and supplier contact and supplier address is dynamic, right? For every PO, it's automatically dynamically generated. This is for the standard layout. Okay. So who is going to build this RTF layout? Who will build this?
Technical consultant.
Technical consultant. Okay. They build it. So after they build this layout, this is actually standard layout. After they build it, they upload the custom layout here. Click on add new layout and then click on the upload button and upload that RTF template. Okay, upload into this location. They do it. So once they upload the another layout here and the layout here. So in our setup here as a functional consultant, we have to select that particular layout here. We have to select that particular layout here. Understood? Any questions, team? The PDF, the PO PDF is generated from this RTF layout. This RTF layout is built by the technical guy. The technical guy, after he upload this layout into the particular path, okay, the new layout will be displayed in our drop down, and that need to be selected here. Understood, team?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
This is for the purchase order.
Yes,
So
sir.
that layout, you know, this layout you can build for the remaining also, for the contract purchase agreement also you see layout. For the blanket purchase agreement also you see layout. And then for RFQ also you can see the layout. So after creating the RFQ, you can download that into the PDF and you can see the layout here. Okay, similarly with the auction also. Okay, we have to build the layouts. That is one thing. And after that, change order template. I think I explained you what is meant by change order, right? On the approved PO, if you are performing changes, that's called as a change order. The PO is already approved. After approval, you're trying to make the changes to the PO. So such type of PO is called as a change order. Coming to change order, there are two types of change orders are there. Two types of change orders are there. Internal changes and external changes. Okay. External change is nothing but on the approved PO. If you are revising the quantity, or if you are revising the delivery date, or if you are revising the payment term, that need to be communicated to the supplier or not. You are updating the quantity, you are updating the price, you are updating the delivery location, or you are updating the delivery date, or you are updating the agreed payment term. That need to be communicated to the supplier or not.
Yes.
We have to communicate, right?
Yes.
So such type of changes are called as external changes. In case of external changes, along with the change order number, application will also create a revision number. Application will also create a revision number. That means for external changes, application will create a revision number for that PO. Revision number 1, revision number 2, revision number 3, like that. Application will create a revision number. Only for external changes. But for internal changes, internal changes is nothing but in the PO, you are mentioning some note to your receiver. In the purchase order, there is some field called note to receiver. In that field, you can mention some instructor to the receiving department. Because here, multiple people are involved. For one purchase order, purchasing department involved, right? And later to receive the stock, warehouse team, nothing but inventory team is involved. Later for the invoice creation, finance team is involved. And also quality team also may involve. Before receiving the stock, the quality people, the quality team may involve in checking the stock of that PO. Multiple people are involved here. So that's why what I'm doing is, I'm writing a note to my receiver. In the PO, I'm instructing something to my receiver. So that is internal change. Because whatever the note I'm writing, that is internal to our company only. So in that case, the system will only generate change order number. It will not create a revision number. It will not create a revision number. And also, there is a configuration. In that configuration, procurement, purchasing foundation, and there is a setup called change order template. Right now here, which change order template is added here? Right now there is something called, I'm copying that. Let me search for that here. Right now, this is what added there. So who created this? It's a predefined. Okay. Sir, what is this template? I'll show you. On the purchase order, if you update buyer, you want system to create a revision. You want system to create a revision number. That means you want the system to consider that change as a external change. Right? As per this, if you're expecting a revision number means that's an external change, correct?
Yes.
So here in this setup, you are actually, so if email is updated in the PO, if email is updated, is it an external change?
Internal.
Internal. Okay. So whether that is an internal change or external change, that is decided by this template. So this is standard template, which is attached here. And if you want, you can create a custom template. Okay. I'll show you how to create a custom template. So from the drop down, you click on create a template. This change order template you are creating for purchase order. Yes, I'm creating for purchase order. Standard purchase order, CO change order template. Okay, so here by default, some are enabled here. That's basically the best practice. Okay, and suppose here buyer. If the buyer is updated, you want the revision document to be created or not. I don't want. If it will not create a revision, will it communicate to the supplier? No. Only the external changes are communicated to the supplier. Only the document having the revision will be communicated to the supplier. So if the buyer is updated, I don't want any communication to be sent to the supplier. I don't want this to be considered as an external change order. I don't want revision to be created. Understood?
Yes.
Actually, if the buyer is updated, you have to communicate the supplier. Because who is a point of contact from our company side to the supplier? Buyer. To the supplier, who is a point of contact from our company side? Buyer is a point of contact. Suppose if you are updating the buyer in the PO, the new buyer need to be communicated to the supplier. Okay. So similarly, some fields are not in our control. Okay, because those are not updatable, and those are also, as per the best practice, you should not disable or enable them. But remaining some choices you have. Okay, this is for the header and PO line level. In case of PO line level, So in the PO line level, if you update the quantity, system will create a revision number, right?
Yes.
It's an external change. Okay. Hope you understood this template setup. After defining this template, this custom template we can add to our purchase order here, the custom template. But I think I need to reopen the screen. Yeah, it's coming back now. Understood? So this is PO PDF layout, and this is change order template. So simply based on the change order template, system will create a revision number. In a single sentence, based on the change order template, system will create a revision number. If the revision number is created, that's an external change. Understood?
Yes.
So similarly, this template you can create for BPA, and you can create for CPA also. And you can modify the names also here. The names that you wanted to use. You can modify the names. This is what standard name provided by Oracle, but you can change to any other name as per your company requirement. So that is about the screen. Any questions, please?
Sir, related to change order,
Hmm.
as per process, if I am amending any purchase order, a change order will be created and it
Yes.
will be approved, right? After that, purchase order will be updated.
Correct. Yeah, we can configure approvals for the change orders also.
Okay.
We have to set up approvals for the changes. And
Okay.
according to our approval rules, the
Mhm.
prospective people has to approve the changes.
Okay. And once the purchase order has been amended, the same purchase order will be sent to,
Yes, sir.
will send to supplier, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
And so this change order template, on the basis of this template, this
Correct.
change order is defined, right? So
Yeah, the change order will be created, sir, based on the template.
Sir, how many times user can do these changes? Is there any
Mm.
one time, two
No,
times
no.
limit?
No limit like that.
Okay. So, and number of times he will do the
Yes.
changes, a revision number will get generated.
Yes,
Different. Okay.
change order number or revision number.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Any questions on the first tab?
One question.
Hmm.
In that layout which we
Ah.
create and we will send to the technical guy, right?
Yeah, we'll
So-
ask client to give the sample format.
Okay.
So once client give us this sample format, we will explain to our technical guy. Tell me, sir. For company to company, the PO format will be different. One company format like this, another company format like this, another company format like this. Okay. You see, different from client to client, what they use it. So we have to design the layout according to their current format. Okay, sir.
Okay.
You see here for this this layout is, you want it seems to be everything in single page. Purchase order, date, ship to, sold to. You see here this layout. Like this, we have to take the format from the supplier, sorry, from the client. And after we receive this from the client, give it to the technical guy. He's going to build that RTF layout. Okay.
We will only change order template, right? Not the main purchase order template.
Purchase order, change order, same PDF layout, sir.
No, the change order template only we are going to build, but the main PO template is going to be built by our technical consultant.
You are mixing it up, sir.
No, the PO and the change order, right? Change order template we have made.
The
and,
change order, see, you're maybe just with the name. So don't call this name, just say change order setup. Change order setup, okay? This change order setup, based on this change order setup, the change order will be created for the PO. Okay, it's not a layout or it's not a template. It's not a layout, it's not related to the layout that we are talking about. It's just a setup which will control the revision number creation. Okay. And when you're creating a purchase order, it will take this layout. If it is a change order also, it will take this layout only. Okay, sir.
Okay, I was referring only about the uploading what we have did earlier in the change order template column.
Okay. Any practice doubts? Any practice questions? How's the practice going on? So we completed till here, requisition business function options, change order template, and procurement business function options. We completed till here. And next two setups, which is used to this setup, which is used to generate the document number for our purchase order, purchase agreements, and for our RFQ, for whatever the documents that you are creating in the future. For all these documents, we can specify the numbering sequence. That's the next setup. Procurement and procurement foundation and procurement document numbering. Procurement document numbering. And here, what is the legal entity? I think this is our legal entity, right? So if any POs created under this legal entity, that POs should start with 1. Do you want any prefix? Yes. PO1 is nothing but, this is the preview. You see here, your first PO number is PO1, PO2, PO3, like that. You want any suffix? No, I don't want any suffix. Okay. Next, I'm selecting the requisition. I'm selecting the requisition, and requisitions, BU, control BU level, and my requisition number starts like this: REQ1, REQ2, like that. Okay. And next is negotiation. Negotiation is nothing but auction or RFQ or RFI. If you create any of those 3 documents, either it could be RFQ or auction. Okay, and I want it to be starts with MEG. Okay, negotiation 1, negotiation 2, negotiation 3, like that. And what about agreements? What about purchase agreements? It could be blanket purchase agreement or it could be contract purchase agreement. AGR1, agreement number 1, agreement number 2, like that. Clear? Purchase order, requisition, purchase agreement, and negotiation. Okay, good.
Sir, in that format, in case I want to add the business unit, the code, or from where that business unit came, can we add it, or fiscal year
You
code?
can add whatever. The suffix is also there, right?
Okay, there I need to manually type
Yeah,
it, right?
yes.
As a characters.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Prefix is there, suffix is there, is up to your call. Okay, after I click on save, I'm getting earlier I got an error, but it's saved properly. And next configuration is purchasing profile options. Profile options. So far we discussed about the item profile options, right? Can anyone tell me one item profile option?
EGP underscore display underscore images and EGP underscore updatable underscore items.
Okay, that's correct. Images to be displayed or not during the search results. That's one of the profile option. And another profile option is item name can be updatable or not. There is one more profile option. Those are 2 important profile options. And other profile options to control the item import performance. Okay. And similarly, we have profile options in purchasing also. We'll discuss that now. Purchasing profile options. So in case of purchasing profile options, coming to supplier communication. You remember we discussed about automatic email communication. Automatic email communication, right? Okay, so for this functionality, there are, I think, 5 profile options are there. What are those profile options? I'll tell you. When an email is automatically sent to the supplier, what should be the from email ID? To email ID is supplier email ID. To email ID is supplier email ID. What about from email ID? Okay, that we can configure from email ID. And one more profile option, enabling the communication. Enabling the communication is one profile option. Okay, and then what is the from email ID? And also override email ID. This override email ID is nothing but we want application to send an email to us to our email ID. From our email ID, we will manually forward to the supplier. This is actually manual communication only. It's kind of, because you want the system to send an email to your email ID, and from your email ID, you are manually forwarding to the supplier. Okay, that's kind of manual communication. And again, this is one more profile option. And the 2 profile options there for this functionality, supplier communication. Okay, let's see that in the application. The first profile option, enabling the communication. You see here, control supplier communication. So here, if you disable it, you don't want the email communication. If you enable it, you want the email communication. Okay, and as I mentioned, there is something called override email recipient. So if you select this option, you are enabling the email functionality, automatic email functionality, but you want an email to be sent to your email ID. I selected override email receipt right here. In another profile option, we will mention that email ID. Here. Specify an email address to which all the purchasing emails are sent. When the previous profile option is set to override email recipient. So here what we are doing, I'm entering some email ID here. That means all the emails sent to this email address. This is our email address only. And once we receive an email to this email address, from this email address, we will manually forward to the supplier. Understood? 2 profile option. These 2 profile options understood? Any questions? Hello, please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So control supplier communication. So here, if you enable, it will send an email to the supplier directly. And if you disable, no. And if you select this option, that means you want the emails to be sent to your email address. From your email address, you can manually forward to the supplier. 2 profile options. Okay. When suppose if I selected here, enable, that means system will send an email to supplier directly, right? System will send an email to supplier directly. When the email is directly sent to the supplier, what should be the from email address? What should be the from email ID? So if you select buyer, if I'm creating the purchase order, if I'm the buyer, from my email ID, application is going to send an email to the supplier. So from email ID is buyer email ID. To email ID is supplier email ID. Understood? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And automatic, nothing but in the from email ID, system will display the application URL. Application URL. Application URL in the sense this is. This is how it looks. So what is the from email ID here? What is the from application URL? Right? So if you select automatic, it's application URL. If you select buyer, it's a buyer email ID. And if you want any other email ID, so you specify email address, that email address will specify in some other place. This is a recently introduced functionality. Where is that? Or a PO generic email address. Okay. So here you can mention the from email ID. See here, sender email address for the communication. This is fourth profile option. Understood, team? No confusion, right? Clear? All clear so far? Four profile options are clear.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If any confusions are there, let me know. I'll repeat. Okay. And so these two profile options are related to electronic communication. I discussed about electronic communication also, right? Nothing but we can send XML and CXML, right? So those are related to electronic communication. This one, those two profile options. Okay, in case of electronic communication, you know, we have to enable this option to yes. Because why we need to enable this option to yes? Because I just explained you about the purchase order layout, right? So the purchase order PDF layout is generated from the BI. Okay. But in case of electronic communication, are we sending the PDF copy or are we sending the XML format to the supplier? We are sending the XML format, right? Okay. So if you select S here, so see here, use Oracle Business Intelligence Publisher to generate the purchase order XML. So what our application is doing, based on our layout, the system is generating an XML file. That means in case of electronic communication, this need to be selected to yes. Correct? And in case of electronic communication, do you want to send attachments also? Attachments in the sense when you're creating a purchase order, you can also attach some documents to your purchase order. In the Fusion application, when you're creating a purchase order, you can attach some documents. Okay. Those documents also need to be sent to the supplier as part of the electronic communication. The PO attachments, the purchase order attachments you want to send to the supplier. Generally, this is selected to no. Because what happens is our XML file is received by the supplier system, right? Supplier system, and they can't process every attachment. The system cannot process every attachment. If it is a PO will be having a fixed layout. That fixed layout can be received and processed by the supplier system. But if you attach different documents there, You can attach a notepad, or you can attach an Excel file or PDF, or you can attach an image. You can attach any document. If the documents are also sent to the supplier system through electronic communication, it is not possible to handle them. It's not that easy to handle them to be received by the supplier system. That's why generally the attachments are not allowed in the electronic communication generally. But if you want, you can enable SCA. If you want, you can enable to SCA. Okay, good. These 6 profile options are related to supplier communication. Remaining profile options I'll explain you tomorrow, team. Tomorrow I'm taking the class. Okay, I'll explain you remaining profile options tomorrow. And I received some practice status emails today, and let me review that. Sindhu, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Sindhu, have you completed costing module?
Yes, sir, but something there was an error. I'll check today, sir. I'll try again today.
You completed with the configurations?
Yes, sir, I completed.
Okay, very good. You have explained every checkbox. Very good.
Yes.
Thank you. Shishir,
Yes, sir.
clarification is all related to supply stuff. I think I reviewed that already. And DFF, supply DFF practice. And audit reports, payment terms, price terms, line types. Okay. Common options for procurement and variables. And I think it seems to be you also created a sample requisition.
Yes.
Sample view also. Okay. And explaining every checkbox its significance. Okay. Thank you, sir. Soumya,
Yes, sir.
costing module practice started, madam.
Yes, sir. Started doing the documentation.
Which setup you are currently doing?
Sir, I'm in the introduction of that costing module, sir.
Did you attend live classes?
Yeah, sir. I have attended.
And I've given the break also, right? You're not utilized the break for practice.
Yeah, sir.
Busy with something. Okay, on the procurement, you're up to date. Okay, madam. Thank you. Sai Kiran,
Yes, sir.
tell me, Sai Kiran. You're saying something?
Yeah. No, sir. I mean, procurement is up to date. Costing model is pending, sir. I need to
Costing
complete
model
this.
is not tough. Team, costing model is not tough. It's easy module. I don't know why most of you are ignoring that. There is a checkbox explanations.
Sir, here itself I have. I mean,
Here itself.
sir. I need to write the clear explanation. But
Add the clear explanation. What you understood from my explanation about every checkbox, please add it there.
okay.
Thank you. Harish?
Yes, sir.
So on the costing, what you are doing, Harish? You are creating completely everything new,
Yes, sir.
or what you
From-
decided? A small mistake, right?
Sir, it's a accounting calendar. Mistakenly doing, sir.
Okay. And
Sir, in
concentrate on your communication also, Harish.
Okay, sure, sir.
Hi, Suhani.
Hi, Krishna.
Costing?
Costing, Krishna, that 3 days I've not taken the costing live classes because the
Ah,
puja
okay.
was there. So I'm just continuing on this and I'll
Mhm.
complete costing this week.
Okay. Very good. I see, a lot of members are practicing. Thanks for that. No, not we are sending, madam. The application is sending an email automatically to the supplier. Okay. You see this point? If we are sending the email to the supplier, we don't send. I mean, this is coming to place when the application is sending an email automatically to the supplier. Before the application is initiating that email, application is going to verify the email size. That email size should be below to the number that you specified here. Okay.
Okay.
Please change the sentence. Thanks, madam. Hello, Tariq. How are you? He's not here, I think. Okay, I will feel he's putting in a box and explaining it. Do you know Photoshop? It's not there, I think. I think in the procurement he is up to date. Okay, correct. Thank you. Rakesh Rangarazu.
Hi, Krishna.
Hello, sir. This is about requisition screen, right? Okay, thank you so much, all of you. You people are continuously practicing because you are sending me the practice status regularly. Very good. Okay, keep going. Thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.